we're talking about this is mid-season Jimmy. A couple, and I get the frustration of my fellow fans because that's where I am. I'm not a journalist like you are, or some of the other guys that I see out here podcasting. But Jimmy, we may as well title it mid-season Jimmy, because I do think that he's going to be traded during the midseason. I think you had really just an eye-opening interview with the Buccaneers, the guy who covers the Buccaneers, and he's basically what he alluded to and what it sounds like is like Jimmy's not going to be ready by week 1 or week 2. So when you popped that question of like, do you think week 2 we'll be seeing Jimmy playing against the Seahawks? I mean, even if he's traded to the Seahawks, it doesn't sound like Jimmy's going to be ready by week 2. The other thing too is Jimmy is going to be worth a 3rd-round pick. And I know that what I'm saying right now is probably nothing that the 49ers fans want to hear, but he's not going to be cut. We're asking for transparency from the 49ers front office. And sometimes I feel like they're a little too transparent, even up to a fault.
They've already said what they're going to do here, right? We're not going to cut him. We're not going to cut him. We're not going to cut him.
Yeah. And people are going like, oh, they're not being serious. Yeah. They are going to do this or do that. They're just not. No, they're dead serious. Last season, nobody wanted to take them seriously, right? That's the big thing. You either accept the truth of the reality of what they're saying, or you just miss it. But that's on you. But I was shocked by how honest they were last season when they said, like, no, Jimmy is our starter. We're prepared to sit Trey Lance back there. And everyone just laughed and was like, there's no way that an organization can move all this capital and just sacrifice that just to put it back on the. Listen, they've kind of felt like they've hit the point of no return. Like they've gone so far. And right now, you kind of think of it like the housing market. If they sell on Jimmy right now, they're going to get the lowest amount of return that they can get for him. Mid-season trade, they're right now the 49ers' best bet is that they hope. Well, I shouldn't say hope. Nobody hopes for a player to be injured, but this is the way I'd like to frame it. There's 32 starting NFL quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I am of the belief that there really aren't 32 NFL starters. Agree with me or don't agree with me, but Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting caliber quarterback. There's going to be some team that in the middle of the season that's making a playoff push or run that we didn't think were going to make it. There's going to be another team that we thought was going to be in the midst of a playoff run that isn't. One of those teams that's going to be one of those surprise teams that makes it is going to be a team that we trade to. I disagree that the Seahawks, because of Pete Carroll's age, need to make an absolute push for it this year, or else they just would have mortgaged their future with their draft picks, right? These things those stories would have already told themselves. What I think is that they're A-okay with sitting back for one more year. Let me go backwards. I think that, and here's another thing that people may not agree with or want to admit to themselves, but I think the Seahawks had the best draft out of the entire NFC West. I just was like, man, I'm glad they didn't have this kind of draft when Russell Wilson was still there. What they're doing is, yeah, sure, let's say they're looking at the Denver Broncos, but kind of similarly to what the 49ers were doing back before they got Jimmy Garoppolo, is you have to do one of two things. Either you draft and you get that quarterback, and then you bring in free agents and build a team around them, or you build a team in hopes of landing a big name quarterback, just like what the Broncos did and so on and so forth. So I think Pete Carroll, it's not like he has a death certificate, already given with his birth certificate. I think he's okay with waiting 1 year,
right?
Seeing what's available in free agency and trade. And
right.
Like
he could draft a quarterback. He could trade for there's going to be a whole bunch of guys available. He could get a former number 1 pick. Who knows?
Yeah, and I do think that this is right now the 49ers year to win the division. A lot of teams I really feel like have taken a step backwards. I think that the 49ers defense has taken a step forwards. I mean, we did so well in 2019 because of the defensive line. This defensive line has just gotten hungrier, bigger, and better. I mean, heck, their defensive line is just so hungry. They're even calling into talk shows now and again. But this is
while eating. That's how hungry they are.
That is the epitome of hunger. So when I look at all those things too, and the reason why I say Jimmy's no matter what is going to be with third round pick is, and why I'm calling this and labeling this mid-season Jimmy is that if Jimmy stays on the team all season long, they get nothing if they release it and another team signs him. If he stays on the team and at the end of the season,
comp pick,
his contract is up, someone else signs him, the third round pick. So I have to think somewhere in Prague's algorithm, right? He's going like no matter what, the default is that he's worth a third round pick. And I'm looking at everything, the way that everything is falling is like, the 49ers schedule is hard, but the teams in the NFC West are really, I really do think that this is the 49ers year for better or for worse on that.
Well, you're calling it right now, mid-season trade, Jimmy Garoppolo for a third. It could happen. Gammon, thanks for calling in.